Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I thought today I would do my all-time favourite books. I feel like I haven't done this on my channel yet. It would give you a good inclination to my reading tastes. I feel like they fall into three categories. We've got like general self-help, spiritual, books that made me rethink my whole life, and books that made me believe in love again. So I'm gonna speak about them in those three categories. I think I'm gonna start with the like self-help spiritual ones because I feel like they go beyond people's reading tastes and everybody can take away something from these books, and they're the ones I recommend most, definitely. So the first one I have, I feel like everybody has read it, everybody knows about it, everybody talks about it, but it genuinely changed my whole life, and that is Atomic Habits. It's all tabbed up. This book, I remember when I first read it. I've reread it multiple times since. Honestly, I just learn how to live my life in a better way. He has concepts such as the 1% rule, the 2-minute rule, habit stacking. This is a good self-help book because it doesn't make anything seem ridiculous. It makes everything feel realistic and like it's in your control. Because what he says is that it's your habits that create your future. So anybody is capable of changing their habits. You know you have bad habits, you know you can make better habits for yourself, and then those habits stacked and doing them every single day is what will create you the life that you want to live. And I feel like taking it back to the tiny minute changes you can make is just so important, and it's changed my life. Honestly, I think about this book every single day. Every time I want a new habit, every time I complete my habits that I currently am trying to enforce, I go back to this. Next two I read at the same time. They're more spiritually, but do you feel like these books can still apply to people who maybe don't have these beliefs? But I have Manifest by Roxana Fusi and Make It Happen by Jordana Levine. I read this one first. It's so tabbed up. I feel like she explains manifesting so well and makes it seem so simple and clear in what you need to do. She has this 4-step equation, which is thoughts, feelings, action and faith equals a successful manifestation, and then she breaks down all these steps, and I just think she does it so well. I always come back to this book. It absolutely changed my life. Like, I have tabbed it, I've noted it, I love it, and I definitely think if you're wanting to get into this, this is one to go for. This one breaks it down into 7 steps, but this one delves a lot more, I'd say, into like self-love and removing the doubt and the fear that comes with it. This one also works great as like a activity journal, because whilst they both have activities to do throughout them, this one gives you the space in the book. So I have her second book, and that is just filled with notes, annotations, thoughts, ideas, and I just love these books. I think together they are so powerful and they really just make you think you can do it. Like, these are like my manifest mentors, and they have completely changed my life 100%. Since I read them 3 years ago, whole life has changed. I'd say these two made me believe in love again. I think these are just the most beautiful stories. I think the first one is a series, and I have adored every single one of the characters, and they have a book, they have 2 books each, and then the most recent one has 1. And honestly, when I finished this series, because the latest one came out in April and I bought it that day, binged it, I was sat staring at the wall because I just could not comprehend that these characters weren't real. Like, I had just binged, I think each book is like 600, 700 pages, so I just binged about 3,000 pages of these people. They're in a friendship group, and I just can't fathom that it's not just like a documentary or a memoir. Like, it was so vivid in my head, and I just adore all of these characters. I've sobbed to every single book in the series, and that is Boys of Tommen. I just love these books so much. They are absolutely massive, but I always say to the people that are like, I don't want to read it, it's too long, I say you're going to wish it was longer, because you are. I do. The characters are just so beautiful and they have so much depth. This is the first one, and it is about Shannon and Johnny. Johnny is a rugby player and Shannon's just moved to the school after being bullied at her last school, and they make friends, the whole friendship group forms, and then suddenly you cry your eyes out. I just think this story is so beautiful and it made me believe in love again. The other one is one that I found this year because it came out this year. I didn't expect it to blow me away this much, but it truly did, and I'm not sure another romance book could top it. Funny Story by Emily Henry. I just adored this book so much. It's about Daphne and Miles, and they both get broken up with and then their exes are dating, and it's just the most beautiful story. It's hilarious. Her writing is absolutely incredible. Like, as soon as I finished reading it, I reread it again. Like, I closed the book and flipped it over and started it again. I just think it's the most beautiful love story, and I think I read it at a time in my life when I needed this. I needed to be Daphne, basically. So I bought the special edition. This is beautiful, by the way. Let's just take a moment for this. It's got the canoes on the back. I should open it up. I hold this story very near and very dear to my heart, and yeah, I just love it. Finally, the books that made me rethink my whole life are these three. The first one, the whole Throne of Glass series. I'm so attached to all of these characters, particularly Man in Blackbeak. I feel like no fantasy character will ever top her for me, but I just feel like these books were so good. Like, I'm not sure how a fantasy can compare. When you're in them, it's just such an amazing escapism feeling. I can't even explain it. If you've not read this series, I would recommend it to anybody and everybody. I think I actually have recommended it to everybody I know. I just love it. I love it so much. I was sobbing. Have I sobbed at all of them? Because I've reread them since. I feel like I have sobbed at all of them, but it's just such a good story. It's so powerful. Just makes me think women are so powerful. Oh, just this story. Go and buy these books, please. Two are by the same author. The first is Everything I Know About Love. This book is so tabbed. I've read it so many times. I'm not sure another memoir will top this one for me. This is Dolly Alderton's story of her 20s, and it is about female friendship, grief, her whole life. And reading this made me feel nostalgic for a life I've not lived, and I just adore this book. It is so British at its core. I just feel like for a girl in her 20s, this is like the big sister I have never had. I just love this book. It's got recipes. At the end, it's got like everything she knows. At the end, it's got like all the lessons she's learned. It's so sad. I think I cried so many times reading this, all the times I've read it. I adore this book so much. There are so many passages that are so nice, and it honestly just feels like a hug in a book. I would recommend this to every woman, not even just girl in her 20s, 30s. Every single woman should read this book. It is incredible. And the last one, which is also by her. Now, when I first read this, I originally gave it 4 stars, but I swear to God, I have not stopped thinking about it since. It's good material by Dolly Alderton. I also think every girl in her 20s should read this, because it is a breakup, but from the man's point of view. Obviously, as a woman, we will never get to experience that. He is also a comedian, and it's funny, it's charismatic, but it just is the most beautiful story, and it's from his point of view, and there's just so many feelings that I just never would have considered before. I feel like it completely changed my perspective on breakups, and definitely communication between two people, and kind of how the same event can produce two different stories. I think it just like has boggled my brain, and I definitely am due a reread of this. I definitely want to tab it up. I think those are all the books that have changed my life. Let me know the books that you absolutely adore. I hope I find more books like this year, because they are just so incredible. Like, I feel warm in my heart just talking about them. I will speak to you very, very soon.